Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. Before we go any further, please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. If you want to stay up to date with all that's happening in Tan and J-Man Show Nation, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, so stay tuned. We are live on the ISC Sports Network. We are the Tan and J-Man Show. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday afternoon. This episode is brought to you by the Dam Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, the Dam Landing is the place to be. The Dam Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. The Dam Smoke is here every single weekend, and it features barbecue and steaks. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Take in the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boat or wheels, the Dam Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester, Indiana. What's going on tonight there, T-Dog?
Another day, another Monday, rainy Monday.
Paradise. There was like a massive temperature change from the time I got off work to the time I headed over here at about 6 o'clock. I bet it dropped 20 degrees.
That's falling Indiana for you.
That stinks.
Ready for some Birdie Bogey?
I'm a little nervous about it.
I would be if I were you too.
Oh.
It's NFL related. It's got to do with some quarterbacks.
Okay.
There have been 40 different quarterbacks that have started at least one game in the NFL this year already. 5 different colleges have at least 2 that have started. Name them. I'll have you name 3. If you can get 3 out of the 5
that have had 2 start football games.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, there's 6. Excuse me.
Name
6,
4 of them?
Name 4 of the 6.
Okay.
Yep.
Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC. Fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Get your veggies.
That's a new one.
Tried to switch it up this week. Just came to me on the fly.
I like it.
Ready to learn some stuff today?
I am. I've been looking forward to this.
I haven't looked at it yet. 1948, Casey Stengel takes over as New York Yankees manager. It's a pretty
good job.
On this day in 1967, the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Boston Red Sox 4-3 in the 64th World Series as Lou Brock steals a then record 7 bases in one World Series. Don't know if it's still a record. Don't really have the energy to look it up. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to either.
In 1977, this supposedly has a nickname for this game. It was called the Throwaway Game, as Catfish Hunter loses World Series 6-1, resting Yank pitchers. So I don't know what that means. You can look up the Throwaway Game in 1977. I'd literally never heard of that before.
I hadn't either.
1979, Boston Celtics guard Chris Ford scores first 3-point basket in NBA history.
Chris Ford?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
In first quarter of 114-106
wonder if he's
win versus
related
Houston
to TJ.
at the Boston Garden. Game also marked the debut of Boston rookie Larry Legend.
He wasn't a bad one.
Also on this day in 1979, Magic Johnson made his debut for the Los Angeles Lakers. They beat the San Diego Clippers 103-102.
Magic and Larry kind of transformed the NBA for a while, didn't they?
That was a pretty fun little rivalry that we did not get to see.
You said it was the Throwaway Games, what it's called?
It was called the Throwaway Game in 1977. 1982, Milwaukee Brewer Paul Molitor gets World Series record 5 hits in a single game.
I'm not finding anything besides that on this day that you read.
Interesting. That's probably why I never heard of it before. Big football news on this day in 1989 as Dallas running back Herschel Walker is traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Minnesota Vikings for 5 players and 6 future draft picks, which include future stars Emmitt Smith, Russell Maryland, Kevin Smith, and Darren Woodson.
It worked out pretty good for the Cowboys.
Pretty good. This day in 1990... the Cincinnati Reds beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-2 in the National League Championship Series to head to the World Series where they would ultimately win.
And they've stunk ever since.
Pretty much. On this day in 1991, Doug Flutie of the British Columbia Lions sets CFL passing record of 582 yards.
CFL legend.
They lost to the Edmonton Eskimos.
That happens a lot of times. It seems like when guys go nuts with stats through the air, their team ends up losing somehow.
Usually when you throw a bunch like that, you're
behind, I guess, and you're throwing for a reason. Yeah.
1992, you'll appreciate this one. Bret Hitman Hart beat Ric Flair for WWF's heavyweight title.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Bret the Hitman Hart.
Also on this day in 1992, Washington Redskin Art Monk sets then NFL record with his 820th career reception. That has been since shattered.
Yeah.
I did not know the Chicago White Sox were in the American League Championship Series on this day in 1993, but the Toronto Blue Jays knocked them off 4-2.
Couldn't have told you that either. The White Sox are in the news today. We'll touch that in a little bit. Who's that?
That is Anna Kournikova.
That's why I said, who's that?
Anna Kournikova and Andy Roddick defeat Martina Navratilova and Jessie Levine in a match for charity, raising over $400,000 for the Elton John AIDS Foundation and Atlanta AIDS Partnership Fund on this date in 2008.
Anna Kournikova might be the worst professional athlete that made that amount of money.
Have you looked at her face?
Oh, yes, I have. There's a reason she made money, but she was not a good professional tennis player.
2016, Austin Matthews becomes first player to score 4 goals in his NHL debut for the Toronto Maple Leafs at Ottawa. Is he still pretty good? I remember when he did that.
I have no idea. My hockey knowledge outside of Colorado Avalanche is pretty bad.
2019, Eliud Kipchoge of Kenya becomes first to run a marathon in under 2 hours in Vienna, Austria. Not a race by strict definition, using pace setters and pace laser markings on a doctored course.
I wonder what we could run a marathon in.
26 miles? Is that what it is? 5 days and 37 minutes.
I was going to ask a kid to get through it a day.
No. I could maybe get through 3 miles in a day.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
Completely die.
I definitely, I'd be like 15 hours, 20 hours, I don't know. I think I'd get through a day.
There is no way I wouldn't die of exhaustion.
Yeah, I would.
No way.
Yeah, I would. I think I'd get through a day, but it would be, I would have to train, but.
My hamstrings would rip from the bone. I'd have no hamstrings left. They'd just be pulverized.
But I know a lot of people who ran in marathons. And
they're in a lot better shape than I am. Who's that sponsored by, T-Dog?
Yes, and I don't have the sponsor read up. And you would think 204 episodes in that I'd be pretty prepared, but that's why we're amateurs. But it is sponsored by Proforma Print House, but I'm getting you to read. And you would think I have it memorized by now, but...
It's a pretty short read, too.
Yeah. But the On This Day segment is brought to you by Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today. Contact them at 574-210-3815. I actually met with my Proforma rep at work today. She stopped in.
Nice.
Barbara Van Weinsberg. And, so she will get you hooked up with great quality promotional products. You will not be disappointed. They do great service, timely work, get it to you fast. Never had a complaint. Mm-hmm. And I should have my first federal water bottle down here, but I took it to work. And I haven't brought it back.
Got to use it.
Yeah, I've been using it. So.
Yeah. You want to start with some baseball talk a little bit tonight? I have some things of note
Yes.
here. So the American League Championship Series has been set. We have the Houston
Fortunately.
Astros, unfortunately, against the Tampa Bay Rays in the American League, and the Atlanta Braves against the Los Angeles
Chappie.
Dodgers in the National League. Aroldis Chapman has given up 3 of the biggest
Getting a
postseason
reputation.
homers ever in
Yep.
the span of 4 years, starting with his homer given up to Rajai Davis, Game 7 of the World Series, to tie it in the 8th inning. Gives up, although the Astros cheated,
Yep.
he still gave up a homer to Jose Altuve. Altuve clearly knew it was coming,
Yep.
though. So that
Don't
should
take
be
off his jersey.
Yeah, don't take off his jersey. He had the little buzzer there. And then he gives up one to Indiana native Mike Brousseau. Hope I didn't bungle his name. He's from Munster, Indiana. Went to Oakland University in Michigan. Heck of an at-bat. Got down 0-2, battled back, made it. I think it got to 2-2, fouled off some tough pitches, and hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball out. Heck of an at-bat.
Yeah, it's interesting from a Yankee fan's perspective. Just looking back on the last couple of years, I don't think a lot of people realize the Yankees haven't won anything since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've been over a decade now. It's kind of like the 80s was, except they made the playoffs a lot more than in this decade. But I hate to say it, and I like the guy. I think Aaron Boone's on the hot seat going into next year. Maybe you disagree, but just the way the Yankees usually function.
The playoffs are such a crapshoot.
Especially this year.
Especially this year, and especially in 5-game series. And especially when you're facing a team like last year that knew what pitch was coming a majority of the time.
They're going to have some decisions to make. You got to think Brett Gardner's not going to be back, which would
meathead.
He is the last member of the 09 team.
I was going to say, he was on that 09 team. He's been around forever.
DJ LeMahieu, you got to think they're going to try to get him back, I would think. It'll be interesting what number, though.
Hitters in baseball.
He's going to want.
It'll be a fascinating offseason to watch with the losses of revenue for each baseball franchise. A GM today estimated that total baseball revenue loss was $3 billion. Now, we don't know what exactly that means per se. Could it be they missed out on $3 billion growth? They made the same as last year. No one knows. So we don't really know what that means for spending.
We do have one comment I want to get to before I forget. Thad Mooney, good friend of the show, said he died today running 3.5 miles.
Yeah, I don't know if I can make it a mile and a half. I don't think I can go half of that, 1.75. Couldn't do it. Don't want to try, to be honest.
Yeah.
But moving to the American League Championship Series, as I said, Houston Astros and Tampa Bay Rays started last night. Rays are up 1-0.
Good.
Yeah, I think the entire nation are Tampa Bay Rays fans outside of a little bubble in Houston there. And Tampa Bay's up 4-1 in the 8th inning today. So who you got?
I got Tampa Bay. Take them in 6.
I think Tampa Bay wins in 5. They're a fun team to watch. Low payroll. A bunch of young guys that are pretty likable, really good pitching staff. I mean, on Friday in Game 5, they had a bunch of no-names pitchers. It was essentially a bullpen game. Mm-hmm. Every guy that came in was pumping 98, 99. Their front office just does it better than any front office in baseball. And
they don't try to tear it down like the Marlins.
Right. They just keep retooling. They've been good.
They just lose guys who want to go get paid elsewhere.
Yep. So give me Tampa Bay in 5. National League?
I'm going to take the Dodgers in 5, even though I think it'll be a fun series.
Braves can really score points.
Yeah. Runs?
Nope, points.
Points? Okay, call them points.
For the first time all season, outside of the Wrigleyville rooftops, we will have fans in the stands for games tonight. I believe this one is played in Arlington at Globe Life Park or Globe Life Field, whatever it's called.
Warehouse-looking
It looks like a warehouse. It looks terrible, to be honest. But give me the Dodgers. I think they get it done in 6. Braves don't have the pitching depth or the bullpen, I think, to match them. But I think ultimately they do find a way to win a few games, but Dodgers end up pulling it out. A few more items of note. The White Sox have let Rick Renneria go. I don't know if his contract was up and they just aren't going to.
They mutually parted ways.
I
don't get it.
Cubs kind of did this in a sense with Ricky. He was there in 2014. They took a decent step forward from 13 to 14 with him, but they let him go because Joe Madden was out there.
That's understandable.
Which makes sense because they were ready to win. And so that's why they did it. This one is a little more bamboozling.
Good word choice.
They had a really good year this year. They struggled towards the finish line, really limped into the postseason.
Leaking the oil.
He isn't great in game at all. But I think it's risky in the sense you have a young team together. I think the team really liked him. And some of the names that have been bandied about have not been great. One, which is from Bob Nightingale, so you always have to take that with a grain of salt because he's usually wrong. He said the team has reached out to Tony La Russa. He hasn't managed since 2011.
I thought you were going to say Bob Knight. I was going to say, well, they are friends.
Tony La Russa's one. Alex Cora, I actually think would be a good hire. He's a cheater. They're also probably going to reach out to A.J. Hinch as well, who's the Astros manager.
They want to win at all costs.
Those two managers make far more sense than Tony La Russa. La Russa's a drunk.
Is there anybody that played for the White Sox or was in their system that would, I don't know how big the culture is, but know the culture of the White Sox, which I don't know what the culture of the White Sox really is.
Joe Madden didn't have any ties to the Cubs at all.
He was just a good fit,
He's just a great fit for that team. So it'll be interesting. I think they should.
Oh, Mike Scioscia. I don't know. I'm just literally throwing out guys I'm thinking of.
I don't think you should get a retread unless it's like a big name. Like a Kevin Cash from Tampa Bay I think might be a great fit, but I doubt he'd want to leave Tampa Bay unless they just throw boatloads of money at him. Who knows? But then you see teams like the Padres winning with a rookie manager as well. So it'll be interesting. We'll follow that along as we
For all you White Sox fans out there.
We don't talk about them that much.
Might be on purpose, might not be on purpose.
But other big news, Billy Beane, who popularized the Moneyball movement in sports, really. He is expected to leave his role with the Oakland Athletics to become part of billionaire Boston Red Sox owner John Henry's sports empire.
Great.
He famously turned John Henry down for the GM position in 2002. It was played out in the movie Moneyball. And now he's joining forces. He's done an obviously unbelievable job with the Oakland A's. Sometimes you just need a new venture.
Oh, sure. It's new challenge.
Absolutely. I'm sure he's sick of trying to win with
he's done about all he can out there. And
it's probably never going to happen.
Dump of a stadium. City don't want to give him a new one.
Yep. So time to move on. Had a heck of a career. I think that'll do it for the baseball talk this week. You want to move on to the NFL or college football first?
Right before we do those, how about the NBA real quick? The NBA Finals.
It was the
decided last night.
Least watched NBA Finals in the history of the NBA
Which is
Finals.
saying something with a team like the Lakers.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact it's October.
Yeah.
You have to compete with football, postseason baseball. The Sunday night game last week with the Eagles and 49ers drew double.
Yeah.
What?
But people want to say that football, nobody's watching NFL. Well,
football's king.
Obviously,
it's
they still
always
are.
been king, and it will always be king.
Yep.
But the Lakers won in 6.
Speaking of king.
Yeah, speaking of king. Anthony Davis, a free agent. I believe he'd sign back. Who knows? Maybe wants to join Bill.
He's got a ring now. So maybe wants to. He's not going to Chicago.
Billy Donovan. Almost called him Billy Alford.
Not coming to Indiana to play for a coachless Pacers right now.
Who knows? He might end up in Miami. Who knows? They're going to be big time.
For your Heat.
You like Heat. That. Yeah, him and Giannis.
But there are some teams that are going to be good next year. It's going to be an interesting season next year. Hopefully we have a full season. It starts about January, so it's going to run. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work, but
we'll see.
I think they're going to try not to do a bubble. I mean,
you can't
do a whole season in a bubble.
I think by January we'll be at a spot where you don't have to bubble.
I hope so, man. We've been saying things like that though for so long.
College football's going.
Yeah,
they didn't bubble.
No.
And you can kind of bubble
You
with.
can kind of set them with online classes and stuff. But
baseball did a good job not
NBA
bubbling.
did
for
a
the
miraculous job.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Which they were as I
NHL,
said,
good job too.
both the NHL and the NBA are better set up to do bubble type
But
setups.
LeBron, I mean,
keeps doing it. You've been calling it ever since Kobe died.
they were destiny.
It was destiny. They didn't really have anyone put up a fight. The Heat fight and claw. Eric Spoelstra is a Hall of Fame coach. He showed me a lot this year.
Kind of makes me want to cry that Frank Vogel's now an NBA championship head coach.
LeBron James was the head coach of that ball club.
You're right.
Vogel was just the head honcho.
LeBron now has 4 rings, 3 different teams, 4 finals MVPs.
Yep.
Definitely up there in the Mount Rushmore of all-time greats.
Maybe in all sports.
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so sick of the comparisons between Jordan and LeBron.
And they get worse.
I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but can't we just enjoy what we're seeing? Because we might never see it again. I'm tired of it.
Every time LeBron's in the finals, they always have to bring it up.
Oh, but if he would have played against a good team, get a new argument.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's exhausting. I don't think really anyone cares anymore either. I 100% do not.
No, I don't either.
National Football League, 3 winners, 3 losers.
Well, I'll start off with 1 in each category. My 2 least favorite teams in the league, but I got to be honest here. The Raiders were a big-time winner. Didn't see them going into Kansas City. That was my biggest confident point game last week.
I had quite a bit on them,
I think you had 11 or 12 maybe. And then the Chiefs on the flip side, loser. I mean, that's the first time Patrick Mahomes has lost by more than a touchdown.
Yeah. The Raiders are one of my winners as well.
I mean, how
put
could
up
they not
40
be?
Points on Kansas City.
Carr actually proved he can throw downfield.
Yeah, he looked really good. Henry Ruggs is quite a weapon. Had 2 catches for 118 yards. They held Mahomes largely intact, and I don't think Mahomes has looked, and the team hasn't really looked that good back-to-back weeks. They struggled with New England for a while last Monday night.
You can struggle 3. Oh, no, they look good against Baltimore. The week before, Chargers had them.
Yeah, they definitely had him week 2.
So fingers crossed that's an AFC West thing.
We'll see.
Highly doubt it in 2 weeks, but
Mahomes looked great early. Scored a rushing touchdown, threw a touchdown. Thought he was going to have a great game.
do you think he gets bored back in the pocket sometimes and wants to scramble just to make a big play?
He was running for his life.
Yeah.
He didn't have much time.
Kansas City lost the starting guard yesterday. That's now 2 starting linemen because remember they have that one that works up in the hospital.
Yes.
I forget his name, and he decided to opt out. So that's something to watch for. They're starting to, and Sammy Watkins got injured. He's out for a couple weeks with a hamstring injury.
When's Sammy Watkins not injured?
He's pretty darn good in Kansas City when he's not. But
he just can't stop being injured.
But, yeah, that was an impressive win by the Raiders. You got to put them. If you don't put them in the winner, then I don't know what you're watching.
Chicago Bears are another one of my winners. How in the world is this team 4-1? They get it done.
That was my 14-pointer last week, so I lost my 14 and 15. That's what hurt me, which we're going to get into.
I thought Bears or Bucks were going to blow them out. They were up, I think, 14-3.
Every time I think the Bucks are turning into a good team, they come back to earth.
And Nick Foles looked real bad early, and then they made enough plays to get it done. That defense is still really, really, really good there in Chicago.
Tommy can't beat Nick, man.
He can't. Was that the first time the Bears had beaten Thomas Brady?
One of the only other teams, I think there's 2, but one of the other teams he's never lost to Tampa. That one's safe.
Yeah.
Unless he plays 2 more years and goes somewhere else. No, I think he will play out his contract. I think he'll play the next year, but I think this is Breeze's last year, and we'll get to this. I think this is Phil Rivers' last year.
Yes, speaking of Phil Rivers,
can't throw anymore.
he is one of my losers through 2 interceptions. I have been on record how often since he signed with the Indianapolis Colts that I thought Jacoby Brissett is the better option than Philip Rivers.
Yeah,
How many times have I said
record.
that? And now Colts fans are starting to agree with it.
Colts Twitter was fired up yesterday.
Their overall, Phil, they're sitting there at 3-2, still in a good spot, especially with the 7 playoff teams this year. But Phil has to play better. Has to.
Yeah, because they could be 5-0 right now. I mean, they're built to take care of the ball, run the ball, defense. It's different than any Colt team we've seen in our lifetime. But he's kind of costing them.
He has no arm strength.
No, absolutely
And
none.
he's working with worse weapons than he did.
He'll still talk smack on the
in Southern
field.
California. Talks fun smack.
Yeah, the weird. Yeah, but it brings me some joy to see him struggling. But Colt fans have been so spoiled with quarterback play.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
doesn't break my heart to see them not.
Other loser for me, I'm going to put the Minnesota Vikings. They had that game. They dominated that game for 40 minutes. I still think they should have kicked a field goal, even though I understand their thinking, because Seattle couldn't stop them up to that point, but then they get the big stop. They had Russell Wilson on 2 different fourth downs, 4th and 10, gets first down, 4th and goal, finds DK Metcalf. Those two are turning into just a force in the NFL.
I was skeptical of Metcalf just because he was so ripped. Yeah. I didn't know how his flexibility would be.
What a steal.
Dude's a star.
Now Seahawks are, I think they're the best team in the league right now. Or you can make a case for it.
It's hard to argue. Hard to argue.
Them and the Bills and the Packers are the 3 undefeated teams left.
Packers are looking awfully good. We'll see tonight. It's a good matchup tonight against New Orleans.
Chargers play. The Packers beat New Orleans. The Packers are on a bye week this week.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh. It's a Monday.
The Packers and Lions are on the bye week. But who's your other winner and loser?
Miami Dolphins. Got to throw them in there.
Absolutely.
Put up 43 points against one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Is that the best game they've played in like the last 3 years?
They hadn't scored 40 points since...
Scored 40 against Denver that one time?
They might.
Or was it like 38 or 39?
It might have been. I think it was 38. It might have been 40.
That was a lot.
The last time I can remember is when Dan Campbell took over for Joe Philbin back in 2014 or 15. Put up 43 points, as I said, against one of the best defenses. Man. Fitz was awesome. He is now 4th in the NFL in QBR.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Tua's probably just like, dang it.
He was so bad. If he would have had a bad game, they would have pulled the plug, I bet. But he was 22 for 28, 350 yards and 3 touchdowns.
They're building something there, Josh. They really are.
I know. They've been so dang close. They have the same point differential as the Buffalo Bills, plus 23. They've been so close. And it's one of the tougher schedules in the league. They've had Seattle, who hasn't lost a game, at New England, and the Bills, who haven't lost a game. Those are their 3 losses. Defense was great. They shut Jimmy Garoppolo down. Couldn't do anything. First game back, Kyle Shanahan said he didn't bench him because of play. He benched him because he wanted to protect his ankle. And the Dolphins had 5 sacks as well.
Still don't know if Jimmy's the long-term quarterback there.
I don't know.
I think he's kind of topped out already.
Yeah.
We do have one comment real quick. Travis Watring, who's a sponsor of the J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week, he's talking about the Colts. Said a lot of injuries still need those wide receivers back.
100%.
Yeah, everybody's kind of banged up around the league right now.
It'll be interesting to see if Phillip has a better play going forward once he gets his team wide receivers back, because they do have Pittman is hurt right now, as is they have one other guy, and I'm blanking on his name.
Campbell, right?
Yes, Paris Campbell, Ohio State boy. So once they come back, who knows? But going back to the Dolphins, Xavier Howard, this is a crazy stat for you, leads the NFL with 15 interceptions since December of 2017. He's missed 15 games in that span.
He could have a lot more.
Yeah. He's just a ball hawk. Has 3 already in 5 games.
Keep throwing it. Well, is he safety, though?
No.
Oh, corner. Why do they keep throwing his way?
They have Byron Jones on one side and Xavier in the other.
But, that's tough. But, I mean, treat him like they used to treat Sherman. Nobody ever threw at Sherman.
Go after their linebackers, because their linebackers aren't that great. I have the best kicker in the NFL right now, Jason Sanders. I think he's 14 for 14. Has made 10 field goals in the past 2 weeks.
I know Tucker always has good, but he tried 61-yarder yesterday and missed.
Devontae Parker is in the top 7 in both catches, yards, and touchdowns out of receivers since the start of last year. Mike Gesicki, as of 2 weeks ago,
into a good tight end.
Was leading all NFL players in touchdown catches since November of last year. He's kind of slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, making a little household name for himself.
I think the Dolphins are pretty close. They get the Jets this week and then a bye. Have to go in 3-3. For the 3rd straight week, my loser is the NFC East. One of my losers. 3 really bad teams there, and one team that I think is pretty good lost their quarterback to a compound ankle fracture.
I would say they get the best backup in the league, though.
Andy Dalton's a really good
That's
backup.
a good option if you got to rely on him.
I will go on record right now and say the team that wins that division is under 500.
Yeah, I will say Philly's schedule gets a little easier for a couple weeks coming up, so they're going to have to take advantage of that.
Carson Wentz just hasn't played well enough.
Would you rather have Wentz or Dalton right now to lead your team right now for the rest of the year?
Coin flip. That's how I kind of view it. Wentz looked horrendous yesterday.
Except that defense is amazing.
Pittsburgh gets after him. I get it.
Pittsburgh. That's another team that you could
they're
argue.
Good. They're undefeated.
They're undefeated too. They're good.
You don't even remember them really. But then, I mean, speaking of Dak, I felt so bad for him. He's such a good dude, and to see him crying as he's getting carted off was heartbreaking.
Struggles with mental health.
Right.
Health and
his brother committed suicide back in March or in spring time, so he's dealing with that. It's just been a tough couple months.
4 to 6 months recovery, so it could have been a lot worse. It looked really, really bad.
It looked like an Alex Smith type injury.
That was
Speaking
awesome.
of, you could put him in the winner category, just coming back after almost
Except
losing his
I
leg.
was as nervous as I ever have been watching a game. Watching a player because I was cringing every time he got hit.
You could see his wife; she was petrified.
How about when Darnold jumped on his back?
Darnold had 4
jumped
sacks.
up on his back. He's the best defensive football player in the game, but
ever.
But just after my dad said, "You think the guys really want to hit him?" Aaron Donald jumps on his back. Yeah.
Yep.
They don't care.
He's back.
One of my winners. Gosh dang it! I just had it in my head. Got to think. We were just talking about the games and.
Carolina Panthers.
That's exactly. Matt Rule's already won more games this year than I thought they would.
He knows what he's doing.
3-2, all without Christian McCaffrey, which will be interesting to.
Mike Davis has been awesome for him.
Teddy's been fine. Moore's been coming on as wide receiver. So is Robbie Anderson there. So, they're a good little ball club. I'm really surprised. I thought they were going to be garbage.
Yeah, Matt Rule knows what he's doing. We've talked how much we like him.
Oh, I thought
he was great at Temple.
Hire, though.
Great at Baylor.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
That's why I don't hire people.
My last loser, Dan Quinn. Or maybe he's a winner for getting fired, getting out of there.
And the GM gone, too.
Dimitroff.
How
it's hard to
Bill
come
O'Brien
back.
and Dan Quinn both fired before Adam Gase?
Who the heck knows?
Which I think the Jets know he's such a bad coach. They want to get the first pick. If they put an interim in there, he might be good enough to win a game or two and get out of the Trevor Lawrence.
Might regain the locker room. It's tough to come back from blowing a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, and the Falcons couldn't do it.
My other loser. Can I put the Patriots in there?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying they broke protocol or anything, but they screwed it up for not only the Broncos, but
quite a few other
Dolphins
teams.
schedule, Chargers schedule, Jets schedule, quite a few teams. And unfortunately, I don't think this will be the last team we see this happen to.
It happened to the Bills, or happened to the Titans. Sorry.
Titans-Bills
tomorrow.
Play tomorrow. Yeah. So week 5's a long week.
Big fan of Tuesday night NFL games.
No, why not?
I'll tell you that much. I'll watch it.
I think we better get used to the double headers on Monday nights.
Which I'm a huge proponent of anyways.
Yeah. Which, speaking of the picks this past week, no matter what happens tonight or tomorrow, I can't retain my title. So for 1 week only, it's going over to the J-Man.
1 week only. This is twice already. 2 out of 4 weeks.
We split, yeah.
Denver Broncos at the New England Patriots.
Yeah, assuming everything goes well and they play Sunday, that'll be 17 days between games. Drew Lock should be back, but Cam Newton probably going to be back on the flip side. They're hoping to have Philip Lindsay back and A.J. Boye back, so they're starting to get some of their guys back, but of course you won't get Cortland Sutton or Von Miller back for the year. I think the Broncos will keep it more competitive than they would have, but they haven't won there since 2006. This is actually their first 1 o'clock game ever in Gillette Stadium. The last time they played a 1 o'clock game in New England was in 1999 before it was Gillette.
They're usually like the Sunday night.
Or the 4:30. Yeah, 4:25. But I am going New England for 10 points.
I'm going New England for 13. That's the highest points we can give. The only reason why I did
thought
that.
14 was. Did I miscount somewhere?
Could be, and I missed the game, and we'll
Yeah,
get to that
I
game.
think it's 14, man, because there's 4 teams on
The
bye.
schedule got screwed up.
4 teams on bye, so
And
that's 2 games.
ESPN clearly didn't have it updated because I didn't have Denver or New England on this week's schedule. But give me New England for 13.
How about Chicago at Carolina? Interesting little matchup. 4-1 and 3-2.
Carolina's a pretty good ball club. Teddy played really well yesterday against a bad team. Give me Carolina for 3 points.
Taking the Panthers for 1. I was back and forth on this one.
It's kind of a coin flip game.
Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow might die if they don't give him a better line.
Sacked 7 times yesterday.
He's getting crushed.
I'm really lucky I put Baltimore's defense in.
I played
fantasy.
Joe Burrow. He got me 3.5 points, but I'm still going to win my fantasy matchup over good friend Evan Webb. Thank you, Webby.
When's the last time Webb finished outside of the bottom 2? No offense, Evan. I know you'll listen to this tomorrow and you'll message me and use some swear words. But
it's been a while, though.
Yeah.
My other league guy played Burrow as well and didn't do very well. But Jimmy Garoppolo would have got me negative 3 points.
I was going to say he was worse.
The Cincinnati Bengals play at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts can't afford to lose this one, man.
Yeah, it'd get ugly if they did. I think they bounce back, and I have the Colts for 11.
I got the Colts for 13. They're just the better football
team. They're a
team.
far better football team.
Talk about 2 teams that aren't very good. Detroit at Jacksonville.
Yeah. Remember when Jacksonville started, were they 1-1? Or they won the first game, I remember. Haven't won since.
They beat the Colts week 1.
Yeah, that's why people were talking about them, because Gardner played pretty well. And they played pretty well against Tennessee.
Gardner's been playing pretty well, but they just not very
I think
good.
Detroit goes in there and wins. I have 2 points on them.
Yeah, Detroit for 7.
I don't think Detroit's much better, but
This was an extremely hard week to put points on. Extremely hard. Atlanta Falcons with interim coach Raheem Morris, who used to be the Buccaneers coach, at Minnesota Vikings, who are looking for
something.
They beat Texans last week.
That's right. Give me Minnesota for 12. They're just too good of a football team. I think Atlanta kind of folds.
Is this Matt Ryan's last year in Atlanta?
Yes. It should be.
Even though
if
Arthur
it's not.
Blake said he would like Matt Ryan to be back, but it's up to Matt Ryan. So
Wouldn't be a bad guy to sit a top 5 pick behind. So
I'm taking Minnesota as well, but for 4 points. I'm not as confident as you. The Washington football team at the New York Giants. Woof.
New York Giants hung in there for a while, even when Dak had his ankle and
they win that game if they have Saquon.
Yeah,
but
they don't
easily say that.
But I think at home, not that home field means anything this year. Give me the Giants for 5 points.
Taking the G-Men for 3. I think Kyle Allen will be the starter, even though it was a great story with Alex Smith. I think.
Why did Smith come in? Did Allen get hurt?
Yeah, he got helmet-to-helmet hit,
okay.
so they had to take him to the...
Because his line looked pretty good, and I was just flabbergasted.
Dwayne Haskins called in sick yesterday with stomach issues. Something's going on there, though, because you don't go from starter 2 weeks ago to 4th string.
Right.
Something's up there. That's really hard to figure out.
13 games is a very short amount of time to figure out.
And Ron Rivera just said 2 weeks ago that he had faith in the guy. Something's up.
Yeah,
I don't
something
know.
happened.
Yep.
We probably won't ever know.
Baltimore at Philadelphia.
Baltimore blew out
Cincinnati.
the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati.
I think they go into Philly and win. It'll probably be a closer game, but I have 8 points on the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore's a good team. They got a good defense. Philly's line's trash.
And they'll get after old Carson.
I got Baltimore for 12. I'm not confident Carson can stay healthy this year.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts came in and threw a pass for I don't know how many yards, but they bring him in on certain situations.
When people were ripping that pick?
Second round pick.
Second round? Who knows? Maybe it was pretty dang smart.
Yep. Interesting NFC North, AFC North division rivalry here. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Learn how to read. Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
Cleveland at Pittsburgh was the game I did not write down, so give me Pittsburgh for 14.
Yeah, that's
not bad.
I'm taking Pittsburgh for 9.
Browns are playing good, 4-1.
4-1 for the first time since 1994 when Bill Belichick was their head coach and Nick Saban was their defense coordinator.
Ugh.
Yeah, but the Steelers defense is just amazing. I mean, the way they get after the quarterback. And Big Ben's got himself a new weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Claypool is a stud. Four touchdowns yesterday. So Juju and him, future wide receiver. I mean, great core. What's up with Pittsburgh always having good wide receivers? Always.
Antonio Brown. You had Hines Ward. You had
Plaxico Burress till he shot himself. And, well, that was on the Giants. But and Emmanuel Sanders was there for a little bit.
Remember how big of a bust Martavis Bryant was? He was supposed to be awesome for him, and he wasn't.
Yep. So, Houston at Tennessee. Talk about tough game to predict. Tennessee, we don't know what they're going to look like tomorrow because they haven't played in like a decade.
And because of that, I am taking the Houston.
The Romeo Crennel coach
Texans
became the oldest NFL coach in NFL in history of the NFL yesterday to get a win at the age 74.
The old fella.
I didn't know he's that old, but
give me Houston for 1.
Take Tennessee for 2.
Yeah, we just don't know because Titans haven't played in a while. I did pick them to win last week against the Bills. Or no, I picked the Bills to win and I had 2 points on it.
I have one on who did I pick for 1? Bills, I think, for 1. The Jets at the Miami Dolphins.
This is a game if the Dolphins want to show they're making progress, they cannot lose.
Should have been Dolphins at Broncos this week, but thank you, Patriots.
But I feel confident the Dolphins will beat Joe Flacco is likely the starter. Darnold did throw today, I saw. But I believe they'll beat Joe Flacco, and I have the Dolphins for 10.
Got the Dolphins 14.
Don't like that.
I put the curse on them. So,
I guess.
No, I thought they played great yesterday.
They played awesome.
The Jets are so bad.
It's been
so bad.
It's been week to week with Fitzpatrick, though. He looks great, looks bad. Hopefully he can have 2 straight great weeks.
I was going to say, it gets his former team, but half the league's his former team. So, good, interesting matchup here. Green Bay at Tampa Bay. That's a Sunday nighter, by
As
the
I've
way.
said, Green Bay's been playing awesome. They did have a bye this week, even though I screwed that up earlier and said they played the Saints, even though they played them last week. But I think they go into Tampa Bay and win. Give me Green Bay for 6.
I got the exact same.
Love the way Aaron Jones is running the football. They're playing great defense as well.
I got this. I did not think
Green
Bay would be undefeated at this point in the season.
I would say the Seahawks and the Packers are top 2 teams, maybe in the entire league, if not just the NFC.
Yeah, it's still hard to say Kansas City's not up there. And I like this Bills team a lot. But, I'm going Green Bay with 6 as well. The L.A. Rams, that's the San Francisco 49ers.
Niners looked bad yesterday. They were without a couple cornerbacks as well. I assume Jimmy G will be the starter. Looked bad. Who knows if he's healthy enough to be the starter. It'd likely be C.J. Beathard. If it's not... give me the Rams for 9. I think they go on the road and get her done.
Taking the Rams for 11. I just think they're the better football team. I mean, I've been on record saying how big a Kyle Shanahan fan I am, and I like John Lynch. I am losing it tonight. John Lynch. And I like that San Francisco team a lot, but they're just so banged up. It's kind of a lost year for them. Kansas City at Buffalo.
This is a great matchup.
This is the early Monday night game next week because it was supposed to be Thursday this week.
This will be a fun one, too. Yeah. Josh Allen's playing as good as any quarterback in the NFL.
We haven't seen the Chiefs try to rebound from a loss in over 300 and some days.
But I think Kansas City gets in there, goes into Old Orchard Park, and gets her done. I have 4 on the
I got 5 on the Chiefs.
I just think they're a better team.
Can't wait till the week I can pick against them. But
it's probably not going to happen too often.
I'm really trying to win that belt, so trying to go with my brain a little more than usual in past years.
We haven't differed too often tonight.
No, we haven't. Arizona at Dallas, the later Monday night game.
The Red Rocket or Red Rocket.
Red Rocket.
Starting there for the Dallas Cowboys. Who's their backup now? I have no idea.
Offense coordinator Kellen Moore. No idea.
Give me the Arizona. Give me the Arizona Cardinals. Go in there and win by. I have 7 on them.
Wow, that was really, really bad. I don't even know what accent or attempt you were going there.
I wasn't attempting an accent. I was trying to create one.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with the Cardinals for 8. Kyler looked good yesterday. DeAndre Hopkins is just a weapon for him. Fitzgerald's out there making magic happen with one hand and like his 100th year playing. Yep. But, of course, anybody's going to beat the Jets right now. But, yeah, I think it wouldn't shock me if Dallas wins this game. No. But I think Arizona wins this one. Arizona's a tough team to figure out. You were on the bandwagon, and then you fell off hard last week.
Yeah. So we'll see.
In your bye weeks for your fantasy football considerations, you got the L.A. Chargers Las Vegas Raiders, New Orleans Saints, and Seattle Seahawks. The Chargers were supposed to play the Jets this week. They were not supposed to have the bye. And the New England was supposed to have a bye. So, another week of picks down. Sticking with pigskin talk. Yeah. Flaunt that belt. College football, another exciting weekend of games. You saw some shockers and some upsets. Big upset was Missouri over the defending champion LSU Tigers, giving LSU their second loss already. It was a game that was supposed to be in Baton Rouge but got relocated to Columbia because of the hurricane going on down there. So I don't know if that had any effect on it, but LSU just doesn't look so sharp.
No, I told you this on Saturday. You can't really have. I know you want a national title and you want that expectation coming in. You had the most players in the history of college football drafted. It's hard to expect they're going to replicate.
And this guy's not Burrow.
No one is.
Nobody. Yeah, that's a good point. We haven't seen anybody like him really. So.
But still, you probably shouldn't lose to Missouri. Yeah. Giving up 45 points to Mizzou. Probably shouldn't do that.
And now poor Missouri had the hardest schedule in college football the first 3 weeks. Now it looked like they were going to have an easy one with Vanderbilt this week. Well, it's postponed due to COVID.
Yeah.
So it's like, not happening. Couple other upsets. Texas A&M Jimbo finally wins a big one over Florida.
He needed to. I was thinking when I saw Texas A&M ranked, I think they were 21st.
They're always ranked.
Like, how many times can this school be ranked and just not win enough games? They'll be 7-5 and they'd be ranked like 14.
Yep,
because they play in the SEC.
Yep.
But he finally got it done. Maybe this is the turning point for them.
Yep.
So I think Florida's a really good ball club.
Now Florida's got to go to LSU this week, so that'll be an interesting matchup.
Something's got to give there.
Yeah. Saw Bama in a little bit of a dogfight. But they end up putting 62 up on Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. But Lane Kiffin had some fun to the SEC.
Yeah.
So is Mike Leach, but Leach's boys have really struggled this past 2 weeks.
They really have.
I mean, Costello threw 4 picks.
They scored 2 points?
Yeah, they got safety. Their offense didn't score points. They lost 24-2 at Kentucky. Their offense has not looked good the last 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on there.
Really bad.
Night and day from week 1. Notre Dame got a win. First game they've played in a while. But Florida State hung in there. I was surprised Notre Dame didn't wax them.
What was the final score of that game?
I think it ended up being 17, but that's his cover for Florida State. It was 21-point spread. The Red River rivalry, Red River shootout was fantastic. Awesome classic. 4 overtime win for Oklahoma, who really needed it.
Freaking Texas. I don't know how many times they're going to do this. Get down like double digits with 4 minutes left. Come back and tie it. I stopped watching it because I thought it was over.
Yep.
They came back and tied it.
Yep.
How many times are they going to do that?
You would think they'd be done by now. No. But Mac Brown can flat out coach football. 56 points and a win over number 19 Virginia Tech. So now North Carolina is ranked number 5. The AP poll. Georgia-Tennessee was a good game for a half, and then Georgia stomped Tennessee in the second half, 44-21. Arkansas, man, I like this new coach. They only lose to Auburn by 2 a week after beating Mississippi State, Pittman. So, looks like a good hire there. Kansas State had a good win over TCU, 21-14. Lost their quarterback for the year, though. It was announced today. So, that's got to set them back a little bit. Your Canes got trounced, 42-17.
Had a chance to show the world they were something. Failed to do that.
Well, it's Clemson, man. So. Want to pick some Week 7 games?
Let's do it.
This is the last week we won't be picking Big Ten football. Next week's at least half the show is going to be, or NFL and Big Ten football is going to dominate our show next week, I guess I should say. So let's just do all the ranked matchups. Got Coastal Carolina at number 21, Louisiana Lafayette. Feel like they haven't played in forever.
Louisiana Lafayette.
It's 3-0 against 3-0. I'm going to take Coastal Carolina.
The Chanticleer.
Hey, they beat Kansas. They can beat anybody. Number 17, SMU at 2-2 Tulane Friday night.
Give me SMU.
Yeah. Number 14, BYU. They keep creeping up in the rankings at 1-0 Houston.
Give me BYU.
I'll go with Houston. BYU's only 3.5-point favorite. Kentucky at number 18, Tennessee.
Give me Tennessee.
I agree there. Tennessee's 5.5-point favorites. Number 1, Clemson at 2-2 Georgia Tech.
Give me Clemson.
Easily.
Rolls.
This isn't the hard offense to prepare for like Paul Johnson's offense used to be. Pittsburgh at your number 13, Miami, Florida Hurricanes. Yeah, I think they bounce back and get a W. Close game, though.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Cincinnati Bearcats.
They're number 8, huh?
At 1-1 Tulsa.
Tulsa's played good. Give me Tulsa.
Can you tell me Tulsa's nickname?
Golden Hurricanes.
Yeah, good one. That's usually tough ones. Yeah, give me the Bearcats. Number 15, Auburn at 1-2 South Carolina.
Give me Auburn.
Yeah, the South Carolina not good.
Yeah, must champ.
Louisville, 1-3 Louisville at 3-0 number 4 Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, large.
Yeah, they're 17-point favorites. They do finally go on the road next week to Pittsburgh. They actually only have 3 home games left, 5 road games to go. And one of those road games, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And one of those home games, Clemson. So it's going to be an interesting couple
I think they lose
weeks.
at least one of those.
Yeah, I think so. LSU, who's unranked, at number 10, Florida.
Florida.
I
think
thought
they
this game
bounce
was
back.
at LSU. I misspoke. I think Florida bounces back, gets it done.
LSU had to play at Missouri because of a hurricane.
Yes.
They were supposed to be a home game for them.
We mentioned that at the very start of the college football. It's all right. It's all
I've
right.
been thinking about the trivia question too much because I have 3 schools that are
Yes.
locks, and I'm thinking of the 4th.
It's all right. Number 11, Texas A&M, coming off that big win. They're 2-1 at 1-2 Mississippi State. Can the Bulldogs bounce back in Starksville?
No, the first team you said is going to win that.
A&M.
Yes.
Jimbo and A&M. So I agree. Number 5, North Carolina at 1-3 Florida State.
North Carolina. Mike
I agree.
I mean, it's first year, sure.
Yeah.
And Willie Taggart didn't do a good job
They
at
gave him
Florida
2
State
years,
either.
though.
If this continues, and I know it's 4 games in, Florida State fans want them gone after this year. You know?
Yeah.
They're as unrealistic as Tennessee fans are. Florida State has won a title in the past 7 years.
Yeah.
6, 7 years.
Yep. Boston College, who is 3-1 at 2-1, number 23 Virginia Tech.
Give me Vautech. I think they bounce back after that loss against North Carolina.
And the game of the day, the game of the week, number 3 Georgia at number 2 Alabama. Alabama's a 6-point favorite.
This will be the J-Man's Book Prediction of the Week. I think Bama covers pretty easily. 36-17.
I think Bama wins, so I'll say by in the ballpark of 10 to 13 points. I think Georgia keeps it close for a while, but Georgia's a really good football team, but this Alabama team, man,
Yeah.
they're something.
J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering. For life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchering@infb.com.
We got a couple more minutes before the Birdie Bogey, so the Big Ten finally announced dates and times for their games next week, and they announced all their Friday games for later on in the year, which Minnesota Golden Gophers and Boat Boy up there got 3 of them, including one of them's Purdue. I was just shocked that a school got 3 Friday night games, 3 out of your 9, or 3 out of your actual 8. The 9th will be the Big Ten championship week. But next Friday night, you got Lovie Smith and his Fighting Illini traveling up to Camp Randall to play number 16 Wisconsin. That's 8 o'clocker. That is on Big Ten Network. Then you got a nooner next Saturday, Rutgers at Michigan State. 2 brand new coaches there. The Fox noon game of the day. Scott Frost in Nebraska at number 6 Ohio State. Then your 3:30 games are Iowa at Purdue. That's a Big Ten Network game. Number 9 Penn State at Indiana. That's a Fox Sports 1 game. Then you got 2 night games, 7:30s. Your night ABC game next week is number 19 Jim Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines travels to Boat Boy, and his 24th ranked Golden Gophers. And then your night game BTN game is a Maryland at Northwestern.
Not great, Bob.
Yeah, that's interesting. It'll be I'm just glad Big Ten football's back because I know a lot of people in the Midwest have been just itching for it to be back because, yeah, it's been fun to watch college football, but I follow the Big Ten a lot more closely than any other conference. I know you usually do as well, even though you don't really have a college football team anymore.
Not anymore.
Even though we can't say the Canes, kind of. So, all right, you ready for the Birdie Bogey? I'll read it to you one more time. because I kind of forget the exact question. All right. There have been 40 different quarterbacks that have started at least one game in the NFL this year. There's been 6 different colleges that have had at least 2 of them to start. Name 4.
I have 3 of them.
Okay.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray.
Cal.
That's one I didn't think you would get. Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff. Because I feel like even though Goff was the number 1 pick, people forget about him.
Then we have Bridgewater and Lamar Jackson in Louisville.
Yes.
Man.
You want me to give you one hint?
Yes.
Went to these colleges.
Went to these. NC State?
Yep.
I was thinking NC State, but I didn't know if that'd count because both Kyler and Baker transferred to Oklahoma after starting their careers somewhere else. Phillip Rivers and Russell Wilson.
If we would have done that, there's a lot more schools because you could have had
Michigan State because Nick Foles started there.
Michigan State is one of them.
Oh, it is one? Cousins and
Hoyer.
Oh.
But you could have Texas Tech because Baker was Texas Tech, so was Mahomes.
So was Mahomes.
But because Kyler Murray was A&M originally.
Yes.
Before he went to...
you have Tannehill, so...
Well, you got a Birdie, but A&M is the other school because Kyle Allen went there for a little bit.
Yeah. Forgot about that because he transferred to SMU, I believe.
So you made that a lot easier than I thought you would.
Yeah, I got 3 easy, and I wanted to say NC State
that was a pretty easy birdie for you. So
just because
I think it's the first time I've ever doubted you on a birdie bogey.
Usually when you think I'm going to get them, I don't get them.
Yep.
Maybe it's because you doubt me, and that's when I put my mind.
Shouldn't doubt the J-Man anymore, people.
Keep doubting me, fellas.
But
ladies.
Thanks for watching on the ISC Sports Network. Thanks for listening wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and a review, especially a rating. That really helps us out, jump up. I mean, podcast world's so competitive right now, and even though we just do this for fun, but especially in the sports, you can find a sports podcast about anything. So that helps us get seen by more people. Buy some Tan and J-Man Show merch. We don't have any promo codes going on right now. The free shipping one ended, but we'll have some, and maybe month to month or so. But you can get the link on our Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page, which you can follow us on there at Tan and J-Man Show and all those handles. Click that link, go to Tan and J-Man Show store, and we got hoodies, zip-ups, pullovers, short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, onesies for your baby. We got toddler shirts, infant shirts, stickers. Hoping eventually hats, but they haven't really rolled those out yet. I would definitely get myself a hat. But support our podcast if you want to, and look good doing so. And we'll be back next Monday for our Big Ten football preview. It's a little later this year than we were hoping for, but it'll be a fun episode recapping Week 6 of the NFL and looking at the Big Ten football season. So with that, like always, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay sane.